Hey guys, how are you? I'm great. I'm a little sleepy because it's Monday after daylight savings time switchover, and that makes us really tired. It's the worst day of the year, you guys. The worst day of the year. One of my least favorite days of the year. I'm looking forward to the time when we can either choose daylight savings time or not daylight savings time and stick with it. Or my brilliant solution, since time is rather arbitrary, why doesn't the whole world just scooch around half an hour, you know, split that daylight savings time right down the middle and just stick with it? Time's arbitrary. I have a friend who's an advocate of doing away with time zones and daylight savings time altogether, and I think he's nuts. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Princess is a little frisky and will probably be into everything, so we'll see how we do. She's making a mess. Well, not a mess, but she's being princess. Alright, why are you here? You guys are here for the progress report. I'm going to have a sip because I am thirsty. Thanks, Jeannie. I love my cup. Alright, so the first project I'm going to show you is a little progress on Santa's Village from Country Cottage Needleworks, and I'm being totally lazy, you guys, and I'm not unrolling it. So this week I managed to put my 2 trees in, and here's just a little bit start of the house or barn or whatever it is, because this is the block for the Christmas tree lot. So quite happy with that. Those trees are simple, but man, they take a lot more time than one would expect them to. As always, I'm stitching this 2/2 on a 32 count linen in the color Haven from ColorScapes, which I am told is a Picture This Plus brand. I don't know if it's still made or not. I haven't looked. I bought my fabric at the attic 100 bajillion years ago. So that is my nice progress on the at work lunch break project. Tuck that back in there. Last week at work we had a busy week. We had one of the biggest events was in the Marriott Center. We had U.S. Dance Sport Amateur National Champions. So that runs for 4 days from Wednesday all through Saturday, and we are just overrun by dancers and dance moms, and it's fun, we shall say. So, I was happy to come home on Friday and not have to go in to work on Saturday. And so, is that right side? That's correct, way up. So I joined the Friday After the Grid Friday party, and I worked on my Oh Holy Night Nativity from Stoney Creek. This is on a 28 count linen blue dwarf by Picture This Plus. And I've got, let's see, the cow is all filled in. That's a lie. He has like 10 stitches of leg he needs to put in there. But the cow's practically done. And I got Mr. Donkey's face in. I probably would have got further, except I had a little sidetrack through Etsy looking at stuff. I'm sure you're all familiar with those random sidetracks through Etsy looking at all sorts of random cutesy arty wonderfulness. So there is my project on that. I had planned to work on him some more on Saturday, but whoops, it's got caught. Got a little sidetracked on Saturday as well, but you know, not in a bad way by any means. Mom called and said she was going to a couple quilt shops to check out some fabric, look for some more fabric that she needed for the 2 twin quilts she's doing for the nieces. She thought she had brought enough yarn last week when we were up in Salt Lake. Turns out she needed a couple more fat quarters, so we went to a quilt shop down that's close over here. I'm just all itches all of a sudden, you guys. Oh, it's like I have hair in my face. Who knows? Anyway, you know, I'm just spare hair. Okay, anyway, yeah, so Mom and I went and puttered around a couple quilt shops, had a good time, and then a little bit later, she dropped me off here. I ate lunch, finished up my laundry, and then I went over to Mom and Dad's house to do my taxes. So there's that. Oh. So my last tiny bit of cross-stitch stuff is, since I'm doing another play at the Hale, I decided to put some center grid into the fabric that I want to do for my my theater project. So I did it on 5 little bits of fabric. I think there's 2 more left. 5 of 7. I think there might be 8. 5 of 8. Who knows? We'll have a peek. Put it away in my cute little bag. So I'm going to be working on the 3 Little Words series. Not that you can see it, but anyway. Turn it around. 3 Little Words. I have all of them. So put that in there. I'm pretty sure that I'm not going to get all of them done while I'm working at the theater, but oh, for the love of Pete. I'm just making a mess. That's what we do. Okay. Alright. That's mostly tidy. And then I want to put in some reading glasses so that I can see when I'm there. Since I was working on theater stuff, getting that all ready, I often use little medicine bottles for orc catchers because you can put a lid on them. They're easy to contain. So I pulled this one out, and it has one of these easy screw lids on like this, right? So I went and rummaged through, and I put a magnet on, a little bit of E6000, and then I decided to put a button on top of the magnet. I was just going to leave it as the ugly magnet, but then I put a button on it. And then this part is quite, you know, big and poofy, so I thought, oh hey, well, I'll do a little bit of a pansy. And I attempted some chenille trim. It got a little narrow over here. I'm not sure what to do since it's all glued in now. Can't pull it out. So I made a pincushion needle minder ort catcher thing to go into the project bag of doom for the theater. And then since I was doing that, or along with doing that, I ordered myself a an apron, just, you know, a full-size sort of apron instead of the little waist doohickeys that they normally do. Etsy happened again. Ordered a couple of iron-on patches, so I ironed on my pansy patches. I'm all ready to go to the theater. Got my black apron on. It's probably going to be my Jimmy Flosstube t-shirts every night at the theater because those are a nice dark color. They fit real well. They're long enough, so that's that. That is my progress report. Not nearly as much as I had thought it would be, but, you know, it is what it is, because I'm easily sidetracked. Alright, let's look like the sewing silliness. Let's go with the success on the week, the win on the week. Last week I showed you the fabrics that I bought for this, so I made another drawstring bag with the foldable thing, and then here's the fabric I used on the inside. I don't know what happened, you guys. We'll still call this a success, but the first one went together almost perfectly, and this one has been it was just, I don't know what I did, but the inside liner is somehow not the same size as the outside, and so it's a jumbled mess all in there. And I know I measured all the same. I really worked on getting it down there and getting it lined up just right, but it's not. It's kind of a mess. It's kind of a mess, so oh well. I won most of that one. And then here is the battle that I completely and totally lost. I'm still kind of mad about it because I can't figure it out how I managed to do it. So last week, I've got hairs in my face. I showed you fabric that, oh my goodness. Was it Jane? Jane, is this you? It's not Jenny. I know it's not Jenny. I'm going to say it was Jane. How's that for a sidetracked? Anyway, I think it was Jane. I'm sorry. My memory is not that good. Anyway, so I cut the fabric to do one of the pop-up squishy... Here we go. No, sort of. I've misplaced the, you know, here's the spring. So here's the, you know, all these stacking pop-ups you can get, right? Because this is big enough for my Godzilla monster hank of yarn to fit into. So I was reading along, doing the thing, and somehow I managed to cut it an inch too short this way, you know, the vertical way. That's not a problem. I can always patch on some more fabric and do it, you know, really well. I should have been a little bit smarter. Well, I thought I was being so smart because I wanted these pansies in the windows to be nice and centered, right? So I folded it in half, I measured from the fold, made sure it was all okay. Nope, still an inch too short. And then, what the real problem is, you guys, I'm half an inch too short from this end to this end. Wouldn't be a problem if I was just doing a bag that doesn't have a form to it. But because the spring has to go in it, it's not big enough. I mean, sure, it fits now, but it fits now without any seam allowance. So mad. So mad, you guys. I should not be allowed to cut anything. Anything at all. So I thought about it, and I thought, oh, okay, I need to, you know, cut an inch or 2 inches of something to fit in there, and I thought about it, and I thought, well, why don't I take, since I already figured, well, we'll just, you know, have to piece something in on the top and at the bottom. I took the bit of fabric that was left over, because I cut it left-right first. And so it's the full 3, so I separated into each little panel. So here's 3, 1, here's another one, and then here's another one. And I thought I can just sew these end to end to end, you know, and then I can add more to it. So I trimmed it out with scissors, and it looked really, really well. And then I discovered that the center panel, or well, one of the panels in the windows, is like 1/4 of an inch, half an inch, bigger than these panels. If you line them up so that the corners of the windows match, this one is longer than this one. Ah! So these two are the correct height. They're the same height, but they're not long enough to get me, you know, 27 inches that I need for the whatsits. So right now I'm exceedingly mad with myself. A little bit ornery. I tell you what, I did get one thing right. I managed to sew the ties correctly. That's right, I can sew me a tie. So annoyed. So annoyed. I ruined a complete piece of fabric trying to figure it out, and I should not be allowed to cut. I need somebody to be my personal cutter, to just, you know, be here whenever I'm ready to cut fabric and just cut it for me, take care of it, all nice and neat. I'm going to try to cut, just get a contrasting, I'm afraid to cut the other fabric with all the beautiful pansies on it, you guys. I'm afraid to even, you know, slice and dice that sucker up, because that was going to be the lining. And then I was going to fold it over so the lining, well, when you make the thing, so you can fold it over so the lining does a little bit of a contrast band at the top. So that's what I was going to do. But I'm afraid to cut that stuff, because we see what happened with my other stuff. That's right. Okay, let me try to get all this nice and folded and put together in a way that somewhat makes sense. But yeah, so it was mostly a fail when it came to sewing this week. I'm just so mad. So mad. So mad. Should not be allowed to cut anything. So there you have it. The poor people in Friday Off the Grid, they got me when I had just discovered my mistake, and I was angry and not a happy camper at all. Huh, Princess? We were not a happy camper. Oh, yarn. So in the realm of yarn, I did a little bit better. A little bit better. Look, IKEA makes wonderful big old bowls that hold my monster cake of yarn, and so I can put it down on the sofa and not get it covered in cat hair, because the cat likes to sleep on the sofa. Even though I have a sheet that covers the cat to defend from the cat hair, if I sit on the sofa, I'm sitting on the sheet. Cat hair all over the place. Stop shedding! She never listens. Okay, so this is terribly awkward to show. I don't know how you guys who do knitting regularly have figured out how to properly show off your projects without all the bits and pieces getting in the way. Okay, this is the right side. This is the right side. Did I tell you last week, guys? Look, see, I have to use my right side charm, otherwise I'm completely lost as to what to do. So let's see, last week I started on this first little mesh section down here, and then there's a little bit of garter, and then a little bit of stockinette stitch, and then I went on and did almost another repeat of the mesh section. Had a little problem earlier in the mesh section, so that's part of Saturday when I went over to do my taxes. I got some help from Mom. She figured it out. I had accidentally grabbed a loop that had been split and knit into the split loop, and it shouldn't have been knit into, so she taught me how to knit backwards a little bit. You follow the yarn. Follow the yarny road. Anyway, so follow the yarn to knit backwards. Tink, I guess, is the cute term that knitters use. So knit backwards so I could undo that, and we fixed that and got that unseparated and back to where it needed to go, and it was good. So with this, the top mesh section, I have one down and back more of the mesh to do, and then you go down and then start the cast off, because you can see it's kind of stair-stepped here on the one end, right here. So I need about ready to go down and back and down and then do the cast off. Stabbity, stabbity. Okay. Do the cast off, and then I'll be on to the next garter and stockinette sections. And it takes me as much time as it takes me to do the mesh section, it takes me to do the stockinette and the garter section. Mostly because I struggle with getting the knit two togethers for the mesh section done easily the first time without splitting any of the yarns. I tell you what, people, I keep wanting to take my needles and put them in the pencil sharpener and really get me a tip on those, but I don't really want to ruin my needles either. So there you have it. Alright, we're just going to wrap Stashquisitions into the yarn since that's what it is. One evening I had opened up my my web browser on my my tablet, and it was to Expression Fiber Arts, right? And so they have the Yarn of the Month Club. You can either order in, like, you know, 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, whatever. And so the hint for the month was this picture. Yeah, some pansies, right? You know what happened there. You know what happened there. They're so pretty. This is a great picture. Love the picture. Look at all the wonderful purples. To me, I see the purples. Anyway, so I ordered that on a whim because that's what you do when you're crazy. and it came. It was, what is this? She was dyeing it all on it's 50% baby alpaca, 50% mulberry silk in a DK double knit weight. And let's unroll this. A lovely bit of yellow, I don't mind. There's a tiny, tiny flash of really nice sort of lavendery purple, but a lot of it is maroon, like from a maroon pansy. So that was a surprise. I was expecting it to be a little bit more purple than it is. But I don't know. That's what you get when you order mystery things. You never know what you're going to get. Chocolates and mystery yarn. Okay, is that going to fold perfectly? Nope. Alright, that's the use your nose as a folding point technique. It's high class, guys, high class. Alright, so that's mostly wound up again. So it's not bad, I just not sure, I'm not truly enamored of the colors, I shall say. It is super soft being alpaca and silk. I don't know. So there's that. And then I was watching podcasts, yarn podcasts. I watch you guys Saturday through Thursday, but about Thursday I'm tired of cross-stitch podcast. I'm tired of Flosstube. I've had enough. I want to think about something different. So on Fridays I was watching yarn podcasts. Oh, I can speak. Really, I can. We need more Dr. Pepper. And one of the lovely ladies that I was watching showed some yarn from Camel City Dye Works, also in a colorway titled Pansy. And so that was kind of all over for me, so off I went to Etsy. This is what started my Etsy my sojourn. So this is just a fingering. It's 75% superwash and 25% nylon. Fingering weight, which the 75-25 I understand is fairly standard. It's nice, it's fun, I like the speckles. This just came in the mail today. So there's that. Should make a fun shawl as soon as I decide what to do, but I refuse to cast on more than one project at a time. There's something interesting that I've noticed is a difference between like cross-stitch Flosstube videos and the yarn podcast, the knitting podcast. I already lamented the fact that I can't speak today. Did I not? Did I not? Okay, anyway. In the cross-stitch world, not many of us have something to sell. We're not selling, we're just, it really is, this is what I bought, this is what I made. A lot. There's very few of us who are, and this is what I designed. And this is what you can buy from me. Whereas I've noticed in the yarn world, I wonder if the barrier to entry is a lot lower when it comes in knitting than it is in cross-stitch. But anyway, the barrier, almost everybody has their own special hand-dyed yarn all over the place, you know. So they do the this is what we bought and this is what I'm working on, but almost every single yarn podcast that I've watched, there's about 10 of them that I've decided are my favorites, and so I watch those guys. But almost all of them, either they're pattern designers or they're yarn dyers, or they've all got something to sell. So it's really interesting. Almost everybody makes bags. Yeah, it really is. And so I'm like, oh, this is an interesting, I mean, it's not bad. It's just, it's something that I found an interesting difference in the two communities. So that's that. Apparently there's some drama going on in the yarn community like we had going on a couple weeks ago in the cross-stitch community, because apparently people can be not nice all around the world. Well, in all communities. So anyway, neither here nor there. That's everything I worked on. I may have gone crazy nuts and ordered a whole bunch of other yarn with the name Pansy in the colorways, so those will be showing up over the next week. So we'll have all that to show to you whenever it arrives. So that's that. No stash acquisitions other than those 2 bits of yarn. Well, that has arrived. I did not get time to look for new Floobies. So I don't have a Floobie list this week. So just the one other random, you know, I was doing the laundry like you do, changing out the sheets from the flannels that had been, you know, on the bed through the winter, putting on some non-flannel sheets and doing the wash, doing the laundry, and there's about 8 of these little cat toys all over the place, various colors and stuff. Cat has brought me many presents over the week, because when I pulled off the comforter, got that washed, the sheets got washed, the blankets got washed. I mean, I washed everything. Usually the blanket does not get washed all the time. It's really nice wool. It's a pain in the butt to take care of, because you have to lay it flat to dry. I don't have a lot of space to lay it flat to dry because the cat's got her hair all over the place. Anyway, the cat had brought me several of these little mice, and they had just gotten worked in with the bedding between the comforter and the blanket, between the blanket and the just cat toys all over the place. Went home, did taxes with Dad, so I'm really proud of that. I'm going to get about $200 back from the Fed and $50 back from the state. So I'm really pleased with that. That means I've got my withholding on your W-2 dialed in pretty well. I'm an accountant, so I firmly believe if you're getting a huge rebate at the end of every year, you're doing it wrong, because you have let the government have an interest-free loan for a year. I know a lot of people like getting a big tax return back because it's like it's free money. No, that's not free. That was your money all along. You could have been spending it all along, but they like that the government saves it for you. It's just preference. Don't do it, people. The perfect way to win at income tax at tax season is to pay nothing or get a very small refund. So if I could figure out how to work it down to even less than like $200, $50, I'd do it. But it averages out year to year for me about $200 and $50. What have I spent it on? You betcha. Either yarn or cross-stitch stuff. It's already spent before it's even gotten here. Because crazy pants. All right. It is a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day in the neighborhood. So I'm going to edit this. I'm going to cook me some dinner. It's a short one for you guys this week. I'll probably finish off my 2 rows on my my monster scheme. Hey, when my monster scheme came to me, it had 250 grams, and now it only has 220 grams. So I have made a dent in the monster scheme, and that's all. I'll think about sewing, but I don't think I'm going to sew because I'm still kind of mad and depressed, and, you know, I shouldn't be allowed to cut anything. So, thank you to everybody who stops by and leaves me a comment. Thanks for all the thumbs up. Thanks for all the likes and the subscribes, which the likes are the same as the thumbs up, so, you know, that's a double thank you for the thumbs up. I hope you guys have a great week. I hope that frog stays far away from you. I hope you get in plenty of stitching time. And remember, be kind to everyone you meet. You don't know the battles that they're fighting. Hugs and stitches, everybody. Bye. And no, I went and said goodbye already, and then changed my shirt and started to put everything over together so that I could start editing together. And then I'm like, oh, I forgot a couple things. Thing number 1, I'm applying to grad school. I'm a little bit terrified about this, but, you know, it kind of needs to happen for the career to expand. My boss should be retiring, well, okay, not the boss, but my boss should be retiring in the next 4 to 5 years, and so I really need my master's degree because I would like his job. I have no doubts that I could do his job without the master's degree, but it's just one of those things that they want those little letters in your resume history so that you can have the job. I think it's crazy nuts, but it is what it is. So working on getting into grad school. So today started the application process and spent a good 2 hours absolutely frustrated with the college that I got my bachelor's degree from, trying to get an unofficial transcript from them so I could upload it in PDF form to my application process thingy, application. So hopefully that gets sorted out soon, because I have to apply, I have to have everything in by May 1st, so I've got 6 weeks. I should be able to do it. I need to be doing it a lot faster than I have normally thought that I would, since we are starting theater. We do producer preview on Thursday and Friday. I'm going to the Thursday one. And then Tech Week starts shortly thereafter, and then it's playtime for 3 months, guys. April, May, June, playtime. And then I'm probably going to do the one after that, depending upon who the wig people are. If one of the wig people is my bestie, my best friend, if he's doing wigs, then I will probably do, it's going to be Pinocchio. I'll probably ask to work Pinocchio. So that will be the end of June, but July, August, and September. I know, I'm crazy, but somewhere in there, grad school could possibly start. And so I will definitely have to give up the theater for grad school. I'm looking, I have got a calendar over here, so that's why I'm looking over here. I'm looking at the calendar. So there's that fun stuff. What was the other thing that I turned the camera back on for? It wasn't grad school. Well, grad school was one of it, and grad school was the one that I couldn't remember when I turned the camera on, so I sat here going, what was the other thing? What was the other thing? It'll come to me as soon as I turn the camera off, so I may or may not be back. It'll be a surprise. Or not. Yep, sure enough, as soon as I turned the camera off, I remembered what the other thing is that I wanted to yammer on a minute about. For those of you who are LDS or belong to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, y'all using LDS for long dog samplers always confuses me for like a minute or two, because I'm like, I didn't know they were, oh no, they're talking about long dog samplers and not the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Anyway, so I got a calling in my ward the other day, and it is to be the Relief Society Media Specialist, which really translates down into I'm in charge of the bulletin board in the Relief Society room. Guys, I have absolutely zero skills when it comes to paper crafts. I mean, I only have one packet of paper here, you know, of scrapbook paper, and it's just like the 8x8 stuff, and it's one pack, and I've had it for 100 years, and I bought it because I thought maybe I will be a scrapbooker, but here's the thing, I never take pictures of anything, so that kind of defeats the purpose of being a scrapbooker. So I'm really kind of at a loss here as what to do for my bulletin board. I'm supposed to update it like, you know, once a month. It's not behind glass, so I can't, I don't feel comfortable putting any cross stitch on it, you know, as a decoration, you know. Hey, it's April, or hey, it's May, here's a beautiful cross stitch with flowers on it, just, you know, to decorate the board. Yeah, I'm really worried. I mean, everybody says, oh, just use Pinterest, it'll be okay. You know, just find your ideas on Pinterest. But you guys, I don't need another hobby, or not a hobby, I don't need like another time suck, because if you get on Pinterest, the next thing you know, it's 3 hours later and you've accomplished nothing. I'm nervous, you guys. I'm not even sure, you know. Well, coupled with that is that the woman who has been doing it, I mean, she moved out of the ward. I wish she hadn't have, because her boards were beautiful. She was definitely a paper crafter, you know, beautiful flowers and paper crafted flowers and ribbons and everything, you know, was framed out, you know, how they have like the picture and then like a frame, or, you know, a matting and then a double mat and just things, and beautiful and paper ribbons that she'd, you know, arched beautifully and adhered to the thing. And guys, this is something that I have zero skills with. Do you think that'd be okay if I don't even have clip art on my computer? Oh, holy cow. I mean, Well, the at-home computer barely even has Word and Excel on it, just because I refuse to upgrade, and the old stuff is on the old computer, is on the potato, and the new computer I haven't loaded any of that on because I really don't want to have to subscribe to a word processor or things. I know I could use Windows or Google Docs, I could use Google Sheets, but it's just not the same. I'm terrified, you guys. Terrified. I wonder if I could take the bulletin board home and work on it at home, so I don't have to like work on it while I'm at church on Saturday or Sunday, or well, Saturday's out because I'm going to be working the plays. I know, I'm completely overwhelmed over a bulletin board that I'm only supposed to change like once a month. It's done for March. I'm going to have to do it for April, and that's in like 2 weeks, and I don't even know you guys. Okay, bye.